Hello, and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg. I want to talk to you today about something that you might be going through too, and that is exhaustion. I think we're all exhausted. I think the vast majority of us are holding it together, but, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere in the deep, dark, night of winter, it can be really hard to stay energetic. And there are things you can do, like I have a full spectrum lamp that I put on every day, but there's just not enough sunshine. And as I get older, especially, I realize I need sunshine. So that's part of my issue. Part of it also is I have hypothyroidism, which means I have no metabolic rate, which also means that I have very little energy. So that means that I have to allocate my resources very carefully. I have to evaluate for myself just exactly what it is that I'm going to spend my very small amounts of energy on. That can be tough, right? Because there are so many demands on your time and on your focus and on your energy and on your ability to do what you want to do or what you have to do. And so you have to get to this place where you really evaluate, really assess. And I've been talking about evaluation and assessment a lot because it's important. We have to assess for ourselves exactly what we need to be spending our time on. Now, there are things I know we have to spend our time on. You have to work. And a lot of us are working more than 40 hours a week. Some of us are lucky to work less than 40 hours a week. Some of us get to work from home, so that cuts down the commute time. And certainly COVID made a lot of that possible. Some of us have suffered unbelievable loss, especially in these last couple of years. And that drains you also. So there are a lot of claws digging into us at any one time. And we have to deal with it, right? And the organism, I think, can only go for so long before you have to curl up into a ball and sleep for as long as you possibly can. That's another one of my issues, actually, is that I don't sleep very much. So my podcast episodes have been very navel-gazy lately, but this is an important one, I think, because we all have to hold ourselves to certain standards of maintaining the organism. What do I mean by that? Well, you can only go for so long without sleep. You can only go for so long without water. You can only go for so long without air or food or those things that let you survive. And sometimes you have to pull back on everything else in order to take care of yourself, right? Especially right now, where I don't know anybody who isn't walking around exhausted on some level. It might be physically exhausted from commuting or working or whatever, or taking care of kids, whatever that is. It might be emotionally exhausted, because who isn't at least somewhat emotionally exhausted right now with all the stuff, all the loss, all the issues. So it's almost like I want to say, okay, how many of us might need a little time when we're not plagued with all the demands on our energy and on our focus? How many of us might need a little time when we can sort of curl up with a good book and not worry about all the responsibilities that we're supposed to be fulfilling? That's really tough, isn't it? How do you do that? How do you eke out that time? And one of the first things everybody says is get more sleep. Okay, if you can, do that. Absolutely. Get more sleep. If you can't, what are the ways that you can help yourself? For me, I don't sleep enough, and I know that, so I meditate. This is the problem for me, and tell me if you've heard this one. As soon as my eyes open, ding, my brain is up, and that's it. I cannot get back to sleep because in my brain, I'm constantly going of all the things that I have to do. Here are the ways to do it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. These are the appointments I have. These are the things I have to do. This is what's on my to-do list. And I keep round and round and rounding it in my head. One of the ways that I deal with that is I have an extensive list of all the things that I would otherwise be keeping in my head. That helps tremendously. I have a morning to-do list laminated right in front of me. The second I open my eyes, I don't have to worry about or think about or remember all the things that I have to do. Instead, I look at it and I check it off. What do I need to do? I meditate. Okay, I have to get up. I have to feed the cats. I have it all written out because that saves me the mental energy of having to remember it all, so that I don't have all those balls in the air trying to remember the order or the thing or the that or the this. Instead, I have something written down that allows me to be calm and cool and more collected when I do this. I make lists of the things. And I know there are a lot of people like, I hate making lists. I'm not a list maker. Okay, if you can keep it all in your head, go for it. If it takes extra energy for you to keep it all in your head, don't resent the list making. Make the list. Especially if you can make it a routine, make the list of the things that you do so that you don't have to worry about remembering them, but instead can just do them, check it off the list. Laminate it if you can. Use a wet erase marker to check it off. Wash it off. Get it ready for the next day. Ta-da! You can do a dry erase marker and wipe it off. Whatever. The point is, do the things that you need to do to save your energy so that you're not spending mental energy exhausting yourself more with all the things that you feel like you have to do, because they loom bigger until you can see them concretely. The second you see them concretely, they become more manageable. So think about doing that. You know what I might do? I might put a little thing in the show notes for you. That is a little PDF of blank lines with some square checkboxes, and you can create your own little to-do list by writing in what it is you have to do. I think I'm going to do that. So look for that in the show notes, because it's going to be 10 things, a 10-thing routine of all the minute things that you have to do first thing in the morning so that you can relax a little bit without having to worry about all of the things that are in your head to get done. Instead, they're written out for you, and you can just mark them off. It'll save you some mental energy. Let me say it again. It'll save you some mental energy. It'll help you have a little bit more peace of mind in the morning, and that'll start your entire day on a very different note. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today's very short little episode. Until tomorrow, be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Isolde Trachtenberg and is copyright 2021. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, remember to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind.